But today, another siege is on everyone's lips, and this time there will be no relief for Mafikeng. In 1980, it will be assimilated into the black homeland of Bophuthatswana, and henceforth will exist only as Ummabatho. If we resist incorporation, the whites say, we'll become a ghost town, a spookdorp. But in a way, that is precisely what Mafikeng is, and its real ghosts lie in a corner of a foreign field that does indeed remain forever England.
Britons always loyally declaim about the way we rule the waves. Every Briton's song is just the same when singing of our soldiers brave. All the world has heard it, wonders why we sing. Some have learned the reason why. We're not forgetting it, we're not letting it fade away or gradually die. Fade away or gradually die.
There's only one survivor of the siege now, Nora Crew.
I think we took it as another day. Of course, I had a good mother who looked after us. My father worked in a town. I think he took the water round and gave it to the people. But we didn't think much of it, really. We children didn't. My mother often used to shout at us and say, "You'll be running about without a head just now." But, of course, that was only fun, I think.
What do you feel about such a historic old town going into one of the native homelands? Isn't it going to be a bit strange?
I don't think it'll make much difference. At present, our native people are very respectful. They speak English to us, most of them, and they're very good. And we have I have no grudge against the black. Of course, I don't associate with them. I mean, I wouldn't like to live with them or anything like that. But that's only because I am white and they are black.
But here in the Ummabatho Sun Hotel, young South African whites have a different idea. For in this so-called independent black homeland, they can legally enjoy delights forbidden them in the Republic proper. They can drink and dance with young blacks, and they can gamble. In South Africa, racial cooperation moves in mysterious ways. Friday lunchtime, December the 7th. From Mafikeng, Rhodesia Railways take over, and we pass from the racially segregated system of South Africa to the good old British class system. The next stage of the journey is a 24-hour, 500-mile ride to Bulawayo through the spacious, exhilarating veldt of Botswana. Botswanan customs on a Rhodesian train. It's curious when you stop to think. After all, further on up the line there is a war going on. It's hot, isn't it? I'm really suffering a bit coming from England. And Botswana, a frontline state, is sheltering guerrillas of the Patriotic Front. But in Africa, railways transcend politics. If your enemy runs the railway which brings your maize, then you have to compromise and keep to his timetable. Rhodesia Railways have run this service since they started. Now Botswana is negotiating to get the line back. They want their own railway after all. Meanwhile, they're very gentlemanly about it. Right the way through southern Africa, through South Africa, Botswana, up to the falls and the Zambezi.
Oh, I see.
I'm travelling through.
That's nice. Yeah.
The core of the Rhodesia Railway staff is British, but unlike South Africa, Rhodesia now has many black drivers, and soon enough this man will be in the driving seat. Larger in area than France, with a mere 750,000 people, Botswana is unexploited. For many years after independence in 1966, this former British protectorate was one of the world's poorest nations, albeit one of the few democratic ones. But there's been a dramatic increase of wealth and urban population in the last 15 years. Now that new copper, nickel and diamond mines have been discovered, the bush awaits the exploiters. Now, this is what I call train travel. Forget about air conditioning and gold glass. Open the window. And there's the evening meal to look forward to, cooked on a coal-fired auger in a galley just wide enough to turn a pepper mill. And after dinner, what sensations to sit back to. The sounds and smells of the fringe of the Kalahari, bushfires, cattle trails, sweet grasses of the veldt, chatter of distant voices. Gaborone, capital of Botswana, 8 o'clock. It's Friday night and a lot of people want to go home for the weekend. The steward is allocating sleepers and bedding in first and second class. Friday night it's always packed and there's a fight for berths.
B, 2056B.
Watch out for the girls if you're on till Francistown, someone says. Friday night, pay night. And of course, the delight about the Bulawayo slow train is that you and your fellow travellers are not segregated. Not that that makes everyone overjoyed to be on the train.
And I don't usually like traveling by train, you see. I prefer when you go with a car, you can do anything on the road, you see. You can stop and then make, some funny games or, stop or do those kind of business, play guitars, just like I like music, you see.
Yes.
Yeah. Then you can stop on the way.
But, do you like this train?
But, it's cheap to travel by train.
Yes.
Than by vehicle.
Yeah. What about this train? Do you like it?
Yeah, I know, I like it. If you're in second class, it's better. But if you're in fourth class, sometimes there are a lot of,
It's a bit full.
Yeah, it's a bit full. That's why, and then many people, try to cheat others. Some people snip money from other people's pockets. You see.
Thanks for the tip. I'll sleep on my wallet. It's only 10 o'clock, but people here go to bed earlier than in Britain. A friend in Joburg lent me Stanley's Travels Through the Dark Continent. In 1879, he said the Europeans would carve up Central Africa in 20 years, and they did. What would he have made of 1979? "6:30 in the morning, the scrub still stretches interminably. The Botswanan Cockney Liz never did knock on my door. Francistown, the old capital. This was the center of Africa's very first gold rush in the 1860s. It was over in 10 years. Now all these men work on the Joburg gold reef. They'd come home for the weekend. The nights fall from the ragamuffins and thieves in fourth class. A poor and incompetent pickpocket. "11 in the morning. There's a different atmosphere on the train after Francistown. The crew are armed. We're approaching the Rhodesian border. Soon after the border, I meet my escort. The Rhodesian emergency laws forbid journalists to go anywhere unsupervised. From now on, Craig will be my filter. He will tell me what I may or may not do or see.
What about personal safety? I mean, are you blasé about it by now? I mean, you seem fairly cool. I mean, are we safe as we stand here by this window?
No.
No? What?
No, but you know, the only people who are blasé in this country usually get buried. If you're blasé, you die. If you're wary, scared, nevertheless philosophical about it, there's a good chance you'll live. But when I say no, there's no place out in the bush which is really 100% safe. Purely because a guerrilla-type warfare lends itself to people being able to take a pot shot at you and your beer. And the fact that they shoot and hit my bloody beer, I'm more upset with them.
But more exposed than either of us are the railway staff. Chief Steward Ronnie Carter lost a son 3 months ago in this war. It must be dangerous working the line regularly.
Well, yes, I suppose sometimes, you know, but we have been fired on, you know. Several bullets have come through the bar here with one of the chief stewards.
Really?
Yes, on the countryside, you know.
So,
Going from Bulawayo to Mafikeng, you know. So the other side of the country was fired on. Could be somebody out there now, you know, and just rattle up the train like, you know, you never know.
There's a brittle Dunkirk spirit among these white Rhodesians as they brace themselves for the last days of their country. Bulawayo, and Cecil Rhodes presides over the end. It's Saturday afternoon and everything's closed. In 1893, this was the royal kraal of the Matabele. But in 4 years, Rhodes brought the railways 800 miles to get at their rich mineral deposits. So swiftly did the whites open up the heart of Africa. Beaten by Rhodes's mercenaries, King Lobengula signed away his land in a famous peace parley celebrated by white Rhodesians as the founding of the nation. It was said of the blacks, their past is gone and they have no future. Rhodes lies outside Bulawayo in the granite hills of the Matopos. He never saw his railway to the falls completed. Here at the graveside, Kipling spoke his epitaph. Living he was the land, and dead his soul shall be her soul. By July 1980, steam here was to have been a memory, but in the last 2 years of the war, the trend has been reversed. Rhodesia has large coal reserves, and steam engines are being rebuilt. In this way, the illegal Rhodesian government has overcome sanctions. Rhodesia's railways lie at the centre of the railway systems of southern Africa. Nigel Leacox, soon to be their head, is optimistic about the future.
Rhodesia Railways is a professional body which will go on providing the service to whatever government is in power in this country.
So, and you think it will be able to do whatever? I mean, if the Patriotic Front took power in this country, you would still feel confident that that service would continue?
Well, the Patriotic Front, if they did come to power in this country, will still need a railway, and we are there. We are the people who are best equipped with our knowledge of African conditions to continue to play a part in this country. And I would certainly hope that whatever government came to power would appreciate that fact, because after all, it's the future of this country that we're concerned with, and that is the best way that we can play a part and maintain an economic balance in this country.
Eight in the morning, Wednesday, December the 12th. We leave Bulawayo for the north on the daily mixed goods and passenger train to Thompson Junction, pulled by Garrett loaned by South Africa. We're carrying extra water, and the passenger wagons are separated from the engine, for if the boys in the bush attack, they'll go for the driver first. We'll make the 220-mile journey during daylight because of guerrilla attacks, for Zipra has infiltrated much of the countryside by now. The train also carries troops. There is only a handful of passengers, but they all know what to do in an emergency. The women too.
I've been taught to disarm a firearm, to take it apart completely and re-put it together. We have been down to the rifle range a few times, shot off a few rounds. I have shot a Bren gun. I've learned to use hand grenades. phosphorus grenades, small rifles, pistols, you know. We've lost close relatives, you know, friends, relatives. And it does affect you a little bit, you know, you get a little bit bitter. But I'm sure once everything's sorted out, things will be much better, which I'm sure will happen. I think it'll come right.
Do you think that the bitterness that white Rhodesians feel towards black Rhodesians is going to disappear easily?
It's not going to be easy now. It's going to take a bit of time and really hard thinking. But I think in time to come they will realize, you know, they can't carry on fighting for the rest of their lives.
Here is an address to the nation by His Excellency, the Governor, the Right Honourable the Lord Soames, PC, GCMG, GCVO, CBE.
On this, my first day here, I want to explain to you, to all of you, Rhodesians, why I have come to serve here for the period which is necessary to enable elections to be held and for your country to achieve its rightful place in
Wankie, the passenger's destination, comes as a complete surprise. Out of the virgin bush appear coke ovens and cooling towers, a Barnsley in the jungle. Wankie is southern Africa's biggest coal outcrop. It provides the government with the fuel it needs to run industry and the railways and to continue the war. Here at Wankie in 1972, a pit disaster killed 427 men. And at the shaft head, another presentiment of fantastic Africa. These grave goods, left by mourning kinsmen, remain untouched. Wankie is a company town. It is owned by Anglo-American and hence is part of a big business mineral empire which rules right up this railway line. The Big Hole at Kimberley, the Joburg Gold Reef, the diamond pipes in Botswana. The land here went to De Beers as part of the deal for funding Rhodes's seizure of Matabeleland and passed to Anglo-American in 1953. More than any other place, this sustained the 15 years of UDI. Its coal reserves will last another century. This is Thompson Junction near Wankie, and it's the end of the line for the passenger on Rhodesia Railways, because the passenger service from here up to the falls was stopped about 3 years ago because of the war. The line became too dangerous. So in order to get those last 65 miles up through dense bush to the Zambezi, I'm going to take the footplate of this freight train carrying coal up to Zambia. It's dangerous. We'll be going through an area of considerable guerrilla activity, and over the last 48 hours there have been several strikes. A policeman was killed inside Wankie town the night before last, a loco sprayed with machine gun bullets, and in this yard a shunter was shot and wounded in the head. So that's why you'll see soldiers on the train. Their presence is all the more ironic when you think that today is Rhodesia's first day back as one of Her Britannic Majesty's dominions, because only a few hours ago at midnight the new British governor came here, took over and lifted sanctions. But the war goes on. The date today is December the 13th, 1979. These men are risking their necks to ferry supplies to their enemies. Our manifest says our cargo is South African maize and wanky coal bound for Zambia, the country which shelters the Zipra troops of the Patriotic Front who are in the bush around us. And this only days after President Kaunda of Zambia declared war on Zimbabwe Rhodesia. Matetsi. We have to stop here to take water in the heart of a guerrilla no-go area. A father and his son were shot dead here last week. We are almost at the falls. At full speed, the Garrett thunders past the road checkpoint into the falls zone. Surrounded by minefields, the zone now shelters an almost non-existent tourist industry, an empty game lodge hit by a SAM missile. 3 American-style motels, deserted, mildewed in the humid tropical air, haunt of snakes and insects, temporarily returned to Africa.
Well, here it is, the end for us of a journey of 2,000 miles. And as you can see, 395 brought us here unscathed, unmarked, but for a face full of coal dust. Passengers no longer alight here to come and see the sights. And it may be a long time yet before another Zambezi Express connects the Cape with the falls.
In December 1979, the only trains to pass over the bridge are Zambian, picking up our load of coal and maize. In December 1979, this is the front line in Africa.
And now, 2 years on, it all seems so long ago. The most luxurious train in the world still runs its pampered passengers 3 times a week. On the line from DR to Kimberley, steam is to be withdrawn. The South African government has not yet honored its promise to give Soweto city status and make its people permanent. Mrs. Cruz Mafikeng is today part of Boputa Tswana. Rhodesia Railways have become the national railways of Zimbabwe. You can take a passenger train once more to Victoria Falls. It's hardly 100 years since these falls were first seen by a white man. A scene so lovely, Livingstone said, it must have been gazed on by the angels in their flight. In that time, the tide of white colonialism has advanced and receded. It may be too late for South Africa to respond to that tide, for like the falls themselves, the current of history is remorseless, unswerving, and deaf to persuasion.